Nothing quite like getting into the flow of a painting. It's like poetry. It feels spontaneous and exciting, and I never quite know how a painting is going to turn out, and I love that experience of creating something and giving back to the world. I'm Abigail Crow, and my medium is oil paint on lucite. I grew up in a family of artists, and it's something I've always been interested in. And there's nothing quite like getting into the flow of a painting. It's like poetry. It feels spontaneous and exciting, and I never quite know how a painting is going to turn out, and I love that experience of creating something and giving back to the world. So the more I painted, the more I learned about the profession of my dad and my sister, the more I fell in love with it, and I've been basically doing it my whole life and doing it professionally for the last 4 years. I've always done oil. I was trained classically in college to paint and to draw, so I learned how to create that way. However, I felt like I needed more dimension in my work, and so I started painting on glass, just these little glass frames that you can get from Ikea or someplace. And those started to sell, and I really enjoyed finding a new way to approach oil painting. And since then, I've progressed to painting on lucite, which is an acrylic glass, and that allows me to create large-scale pieces and allows me to open up all sorts of avenues for how to approach the painting I want to create. So it's something I think I'll be doing for a very long time. I paint on the front side and the back side. So for example, this piece right here, I painted the highlights and the details on her face, and then her hair and the background color recedes to the back side. So this is the coloring here. This is all painted. There's no canvas used, and then I painted the rest of it here. So it's a fun process. It's back and forth. Some of it's reverse, some of it's done on the front, but it creates this luminous and dimensional effect that I find really intriguing. College, my thesis, you could say, my final project was portraiture, and I loved it. It challenged me because figures and people are some of the hardest things that you can paint because we see them all day long. And I wanted to get better at doing flowers and more botanical elements. So I started approaching my work as portraits of people and flora and fauna. And so I love being able to combine my passion of art and nature together. So you'll see in a lot of my work different botanical elements like lovebirds or roadrunners, lemons, oranges. And it's really just such a joy to be able to be up close with such beautiful natural things, and there's always so much variety, and so I can challenge myself to say, okay, today I'm going to try painting a cactus wren, let's see how this works. Or today I'm going to figure out how to do apple blossoms. So the sky's the limit. There's so many things I want to try. I think the most rewarding aspect is being able to share it with people who understand what this is. It's a special thing to know that someone wants to, not only they are admiring my work, but they also want to take it and have it part of their home. And I feel that the home is meant to be a sacred place. It's meant to be a place of respite. And if I can contribute to somebody's home as a very special and sacred thing, and it's very much an honor for me to be able to contribute in the joy that they have in their home. I've known about it for years. My dad has done this for about 14 years, and so I grew up coming here. So I remember as a little girl visiting him I'd come down from Utah and come to the show, and so it's always been a very fond memory for me to be here in Scottsdale, because I'd get to see him and get to see art. And get out of the snow. And then the more I learned about it as a professional, the more I was intrigued by the connections and the relationships that you develop here. So I was very excited about that, excited to be in one of the best places in the world. I think to sell art is a huge accomplishment. And it still feels surreal that I'm here. It still feels strange that I got in here because I've been wanting to be a part of this for so long, and it's been part of our family for so long.